the Real Estate U podcast with Lettiann. Welcome back to Real Estate U with Lettiann, and I'd also like to welcome back my friend and fellow real estate professional, Doreen Courtright. Welcome, Doreen.
Thank you, Lettiann. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. So Doreen is a licensed real estate professional in New York City, and I always describe New York City as the epicenter of energy for the world. It's like the heartbeat, the pulse of the world, in my opinion. And I love New York. My brother lives on the Upper West Side. No finer foods and dining and shopping. It's just a true experience. And I'm delighted to be a friend of yours, Doreen. Doreen and I are in the same coaching group and real estate coaching. And we were talking about the last time you were on, Doreen, you literally were shut down. Your business was not deemed essential real estate from the stay-at-home order, which was in March of 2020. Your business, real estate, was shut down until June 22nd. When you were allowed to practice your business again and really assist those who were wanting to leave, wanting to come to New York, buy and sell, what did that look like in the latter part of June of 2020?
Well, we were all so excited, first of all, to be able to go back to work, because being shut down and being home for that amount of time was really torture. But once we were able to go back to work, it opened up very slowly, because people were still very paranoid about having strangers into their home. Buyers were not really ready to go into somebody's home. So it started like a trickle, and it slowly, picked up. Right now, we're still not anywhere near where we would be in a normal market. We have very high inventory. Our inventory is up to where we were in 2008, 2009, after the financial crisis. But the good news is that inventory is slowing down. It's not coming on the way that it was for months. And, we're just going to get ready for the spring market, which starts, in early 2021. That's when we start getting a lot more. So we're hoping that sales are going to increase, and they are increasing every week, but still pretty slowly.
So people are slow to be getting their properties on the market. And as you reminded us in the previous episode, New York City is vertical real estate. There are not houses. Everything is vertical, whether it's a brownstone or a condominium.
Right.
Which you told us creates some challenges with even showing properties. But let's dive a little deeper into pre-pandemic, the difference in cost. Let's say a one-bedroom, one-bath apartment or condo on the Upper West Side pre-pandemic. Now, if someone wanted to purchase, I'm not going to say post-pandemic because it's still happening, but a one-bedroom, one-bath condo, that same condo on the Upper West Side, now, what does that look like as far as price?
So most of the one bedrooms on the Upper West Side are probably co-ops. So I would say a one bedroom co-op in a nice doorman building that didn't need a lot of work. Before the pandemic, I would say would probably be going for maybe around $699 to $725. And now I would say they're going for $599 to $650 maybe. So they've come down. Yeah, they've come down a lot. The thing in New York is that the prices have come down the most on the highest properties. So if you're very wealthy and you're looking to buy in a new development for, say, $10 million, which there's a lot of those properties available, you could get like a 30% discount. So yeah, so you could get a $10 million apartment for $6 or $7 million right now. So you're saving more. The more you're going to spend, the more you're going to save. So it's a great time for somebody who has a one bedroom that wants to trade up to a two bedroom, or from a 2 to 3, because even though you might not get what you want on your sale, you're going to make it up on what you purchase.
That makes sense. So are you seeing more of, well, it sounds as if it's very much a buyer's market presently in New York.
Totally a buyer's market.
In all the boroughs,
Totally a
would you
buyer's-
say?
Yeah. I think Brooklyn has fared much better than Manhattan because Brooklyn has more space. So if you go from Manhattan, take the train to Brooklyn, and you walk down the street, you immediately feel a sense of more quiet and a buyer's market.
In all the boroughs,
Totally a
would you
buyer's-
say?
Yeah. I think Brooklyn has fared much better than Manhattan because Brooklyn has more space. So if you go from Manhattan, take the train to Brooklyn, and you walk down the street, you immediately feel a sense of more quiet and calm, not as much traffic, not as much people walking around. So a lot of people have taken this opportunity to leave Manhattan and go to Brooklyn. And Brooklyn has more outdoor apartments with outdoor space, which everybody really wants. So prices in Brooklyn have held steadier than they have in Manhattan.
Do you find the more luxury market for those who had properties, $5 million and above in Manhattan, are they headed up to the Hamptons, or are they selling one of their properties and just living up in the Hamptons? Who do you see coming in, and who do you see going out, and where are they going?
I feel most of the people that have school-age kids that are in big apartments that are wealthy can afford to keep their apartment in New York City, but have gone to their country home or their beach home because their kids are at home learning, doing school at home. They don't need to be in the city, so they've left. Also, the buyers for those properties have left. So if you have a property on the market for $3 million and up, the buyer pool is very, very small. So we're finding it very challenging to sell those 3-bedroom, 3 and 4 bedroom, big Upper West Side, Upper East Side, downtown, loft. Anything over $3 million is really taking a lot longer to sell.
So what's your entry level price point in New York City at this time?
Well, if you're going to buy a studio, you could get, like right now, I'm seeing prices for some studios in the 300,000s, where I haven't seen that for maybe 10 years. So usually the $500,000 apartments are going for $425,000. And everybody's negotiating, everybody's making low offers. So everybody knows it's a buyer's market, and it's a pretty brutal time to be a seller. But if you have to sell, then this is the market that we're in. And it seems like we're going to be in this for a while. It's going to take a while to get back to have all that inventory be, absorbed.
Indeed. So if you're just joining us, I'm talking to Doreen Courtright, a fellow friend and real estate professional in New York City. We're talking about what's happening in New York at this time. And Doreen, I want to ask you, what do you predict for the next 3 to 4 months? What do you see happening in early 2021, or even the spring market 2021 in New York? What's trending?
Well, I feel like prices are probably going to stay about where they're at now, which are down. We're down maybe about 15% from the beginning of 2020, which I think I mentioned before. Our market was down for 2 years, like 2018, 2019, our market started trending down because we were on an upward trajectory for so long. And then right before COVID hit, our market started recovering just in time to get slammed with the virus. So I think that in 2021, we're probably going to see pricing the same as it is now, and maybe recovering once the vaccine is really making a difference in our ability to go about our lives, and for people to be able to go back to work, go back to their offices, children to be able to go back to school, for us to be able to get back on airplanes, for investors from Europe and China to be able to come back over here. And, there's other factors too, like, are the tax laws going to change? Are they going to change SALT? Are they going to take away that deduction, the deduction that they put in the last couple of years through the tax reform? And there's just so many uncertainties. It's really kind of hard to predict. I mean, I'm an optimist by nature, so I would love to say, hey, everything's going to pick up and the market's going to turn around. But I will tell you one thing that I know from experience, even before I was in real estate, and I've been in real estate for 17 years. When the market turns around in New York City, it turns around very, very quickly, like that. And then once that happens, prices just start going up, and you could see it happen. So, but for that to happen, our inventory has to start going down a little bit, and people have to go back to work.
So this is an excellent time to invest in New York City, whether you're wanting to invest because you've always wanted that studio near your kids, or what about someone who wants to invest, purchases a condo, and wants to rent it out or have an Airbnb?
So you cannot do Airbnb in New York City.
Well, I was going to say, on our previous episode, there are so many rules and regs just to buy a place, let alone say, well, I'm actually not going to live here. You're probably out, right?
I mean, I think you could Airbnb if you owned a townhouse where you don't have a co-op board, but you can't Airbnb. Even if you're a renter, you can't Airbnb. They put it in your lease now that you can't Airbnb. And I'm going to be brutally honest.
Good.
It's New York City is not a big investor town, because the cap rate that you get here, no matter what price range, is anywhere from maybe 2 to 4% is like the best you could get. And right now, because so many people that were renting, New York is also a rental market. 70% of all the people in New York City rent, they don't own. So many people that were renting, especially young people, because they didn't have to go to the office anymore, they just left their apartments and they went home to live with their parents to save on the rent. So there are so many vacant apartments. We have the highest vacancy. It's 5.6% vacancy in New York City. And the normal rate of vacancy in New York City is less than 1%. So right now, if you want to get into a luxury building, you could get a new lease. They're paying the broker fee, which they never do, and they're giving 3 months free. So people who are in their leases are up, they're hopping from one building to the next building because they could get 3 months free. So the concessions that landlords are doing, it's very hard for an investor right now to be in competition with a landlord of a big building. So that's why right now the sales market is down, because the people from overseas are just, they can't compete. Even if they buy in a new development, their property is going to be competing with other investors, and it's going to sit on the market for a long time. So it's a great time to be a buyer, and it's probably an even better time to be a renter right now.
Good to know. What do you like most about selling real estate in New York City?
Oh, I love getting a new listing in a neighborhood that I don't live in, because it's kind of like having a new boyfriend. I haven't had a new boyfriend in so many years, I wouldn't even know what that was like. But I mean, it's like going to a new neighborhood and seeing where the nail salon is, and discovering the restaurants in the neighborhood, and then in between appointments, where do you go to sit outside and have a iced tea, and what friends do you know down there that you could do a coffee meeting with? I just love going to new neighborhoods. Like right now I have a listing in Tribeca. I have a listing in the upper West Side, Kips Bay. I just got a contract, just got an accepted offer this week in Prospect Park in Brooklyn. Now, I haven't been in Prospect Park in Brooklyn in, probably 5 years. So every neighborhood is different than the Upper East Side. So it's just super fun to be able to discover how's the best way for me to get down there? What subway do I take, or where do I need to transfer? So it's just discovering new neighborhoods and seeing how they've changed since the last time I've been there.
And I think that holds true to all real estate professionals. And what you said really hit home, because I always encourage people, hire a full-time real estate professional. And Well, my friend Bobby's sister's boyfriend has a real estate license. Well, just because you have a real estate license doesn't mean you're savvy, have a strategy, and know the neighborhoods. So just like you said, Doreen, I loved and I saw the smile on your face talking about it, because you are more than a full-time. You're very active. You eat, sleep, and drink it like myself. And wouldn't you rather hire Doreen if you were looking for an apartment in New York City? Or do you want to hire someone who's friend of a friend of a friend who sold one condo last November? Strategy matters, who you hire matters, and knowledge of the community, the neighborhoods, where's the nail salon. And if you've ever been to New York, you know Doreen's hitting it right on the head. It's a big place with a lot of stuff. And if you don't know what you're selling and be able to sell it, why would someone even hire you, right? So, very good point.
I think the important thing too is to be passionate about what you do and you're excited about it. Like sometimes I'll show a property and the agent is like on their phone, not paying attention. And I'll say, like, your buyer didn't even go look in the kitchen, like they're just like out to lunch. So I think, people appreciate being with somebody who really loves what they do. And I think that's hard to disguise. It just comes through. And not only that, but you have to also be somebody who's fun, and somebody who's not boring. Because, when you enter into a sales relationship or a buyer relationship, you're dating this person for the next, hopefully, couple of weeks, but it could be a couple of months, it could be 6 months or longer. You better have a good relationship with that person and be able to communicate. And, there's so much more that goes into the process of buying and selling than just knowing your stats and knowing the neighborhood. And, you have to be able to connect with people.
Indeed. Doreen, thank you so much for your time and being with us today. Again, Doreen Courtright, real estate professional in New York City with Douglas Elliman, and also my friend. Doreen, thank you for your time today. I look forward to seeing you in person one day soon. And for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in to Real Estate U with Lettiann, and we'll see you on the next episode.